Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. I'd like everyone to rise with me and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome everyone. All board members are present. We will start our evening tonight with Laker Pride. Dr. Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair White, Board of Directors, welcome community and everyone. Starting off tonight, we got three things tonight. We will have special recognition of one of our administrators, our winter activities, which is always one of the highlights, and then also a recap on our Greece trip with our students who performed overseas. So I will start off by sharing that our Director of Student Support Services, Michelle Chuka, has been named for the 2025 school year the Minnesota Association of Special Education Administrator of the Year Award. And she has been recognized by her peers and colleagues all throughout the state. I know this is in one of my previous Fridays Fives, but I gotta tell you, when we were able to get her from an unnamed district, we were very pleased that she was joining the PLSAS family. And to date, Michelle, you have truly outdone yourself in really opening up pathways and supports and opportunities for our kids who need it most. And so I just want to say, on behalf of all the staff and your colleagues here, congratulations. And you do us proud, but clearly you do the whole state proud as well. So if you want to say a few words, and I also have a nice certificate, and we're going to have the pose.
Oh, yay. Well, thank you. I'm deeply honored that my colleagues recognize me for this, but one thing I know to be true, I'm getting a lot of credit for a lot of work other people do. So my team across the district is amazing, working with students with disabilities, and then the leadership team, whether that's at the building level or district level, also really supports our students with disabilities, and for that I am forever grateful. Inclusion has always been the heart of my work, and to see that play out in greater ways here in Prior Lake Savage Area Schools is just amazing. So thanks for the recognition. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We'll do it tomorrow, I guess. All right, so now I'm going to call forward Mr. Jeff Marshall, who is our District Athletic Director, and he will have the honors of introducing a lot of our students this evening and recognizing their phenomenal accomplishments, along with a little bit of a presentation as well. Mr. Marshall, I will leave you with all the certificates that the students will pick up at the high school. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I'm just trying to get the slides up. How do I get the slides up?
Press escape twice. Oh. One more time. And it's minimized at the bottom. There you are. Slideshow.
All right, well, good evening, Superintendent Dr. Thomas, Board Chair White, and School Board Directors, and other guests. It is my honor and privilege to present to you the 2024-25 Winter Activities and Athletics Report, as well as to recognize and honor those students who have qualified for state or achieved tremendous success in their given activities from this past winter season. Before we begin bringing students in, I wanted to share a few reminders of our Athletics and Activities Department. As you can see on this very first slide, we continue to live by our vision of students experiencing an enjoyable environment of a wide array of co-curricular activities that promote pride, character, sportsmanship, and development of personal and team excellence. With over 75% of our student population participating in some sort of co-curricular activity, this is a testament to the wide array that we offer and the enjoyable experiences our students are having within these sports and activities. As we switch to our next slide, you will see what we use for a definition of success within our programs. While it is always our goal to win in our competitions, when we reflect back on a season, our coaches, advisors, and students should be looking at whether or not they created lifelong memories, they developed lifelong friendships, and they taught or learned lifelong lessons. In addition, we use the Laker acronym to define our purpose statement within our department, starting with developing moral character skills. These are skills that we want our students to learn and display in all aspects of their lives, not just within their sports or activities. Thus, love, appreciation, kindness, empathy, and respect are all skills that our students and adults should reflect on and display in all interactions within and outside of their activities. The performance character skills of legacy, advocacy, knowledge, enthusiasm, and resiliency are skills that we want our students to display specifically within their sport or activity, but would also carry over to other aspects of their lives. And we refer to them as skills instead of traits, because traits are things that you're born with, and we believe that skills are things that can be taught. And it is the role of our mentors, our coaches, and our advisors to work with our student athletes and our student participants to work on building these skills and teaching them to them. This next slide shows the participation numbers from the last 2 winter seasons, so you can see a comparison of where things are at for student involvement. A few highlights to point out. Our girls' basketball numbers increased enough for us to field 4 levels again this year, something we have not been able to do for quite some time. Our dance numbers continue to increase, and we saw the addition of a male dancer to the team this year. Our wrestling numbers continue to increase, and while we had fewer females this year, the female number continues to grow at the middle school and youth levels, so we will see that number increase in the future as well. And our intramural basketball numbers continue to be strong, with well over 200 students participating in this during the winter months. Now at this time, we will start to highlight some of our specific activities in sports. We're going to start with our activities and our non-Minnesota State High School League sports. Weightlifting. The first group we're going to bring in is our 2 members of our Olympic weightlifting team. And it looks like we only had one be able to make it tonight. This is Lillian No. Lillian and Angelica Benitez both qualified and placed at the state championships. Lillian finished as runner-up in her category, and Angelica finished as state champion for the 3rd consecutive year. This was also Angelica's 4th year of qualifying for state. Both athletes have qualified for the national competition in Colorado Springs that will be taking place in June, and the team is coached by Scott Felsted. Congratulations. Our next group of students that we're going to bring in is our DECA group. This year we had 22 students who qualified for the state championships. Peyton Cawley, Tanner Long, Sanjana Ravindranath, Grayson Peterson, Jonathan Shea, Logan Stanke, who's standing in front of you right now, Shlok Jain, Vikram Kandula, Vladislav Ginsburg, Broden Percival, Devin Zender, Jesse Tupi, Ashwin Mandal, Benjamin Sandoval, Ethan Reinsbach, and Supriya Upadhyay. In addition, 6 students placed at the DECA State Championships and have qualified for the international competition taking place in Orlando later this month. That is Madeline Banis. Is Madeline here?
She's not.
Oh, okay. Madeline Banis, Olivia Zerbel, Josh Paskanik, Dhruv Japa, Lena Johnson, and Grace Cullen. The team is coached by both Brooke Whalen and Gemma Kilmer. And Logan, congratulations.
Congrats.
Unfortunately, we were not able to have any members of our mock trial team attend tonight. However, the mock trial blue team qualified for the state tournament again this year after advancing through regionals, where they finished 4th at the state tournament. Team members for this year included Veronica Cruz, Bella Ellert, Ikram Faida, Aiden Green, Brenna Green, Elodie Nemeth, Sophia Saputo, Finn Schlipscher, Evelyn Timmerman, and Anna Wong. And our mock trial is coached by Takuma Padilla, Matt Baer, and Fatima Ayur. Next, we have our debate. Go on up there, girls.
Good job, mock trial.
This year was the second, congratulations to mock trial. They're not here, unfortunately, but they did a fantastic job. So this was the second year of us being able to field a debate team. We did have 2 individuals who qualified for the state tournament this year, which again, knowing that this is only the second year in existence of a debate team, to have anybody qualify for state is truly amazing. So, and the amazing thing about both of these girls is they are both 9th graders. And so we have Meraki Fortin and Shreya Agarwal. And a big thanks to Allison Roberts for continuing to coach the team. Congratulations, ladies. We look forward to the next 3 years.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Our one act team this year, you can come on in. I'm just giving some highlights still. Our one act advanced to the section final this year where they finished in 3rd place, just barely making it to state. Jenny Witt came back out of retirement to direct our competition one act this year and did a fantastic job. Our SSC Visual Arts exhibition, unfortunately none of them could make it here tonight, but we participate in the South Suburban Conference Visual Arts exhibition. And at that exhibition, Tomas Valdivia won an award of achievement, Michelle Bertelson won an award of excellence, and Danny Nong won an award of merit. Special thanks goes out to Christy Malmgren, one of our art teachers at the high school who coordinates and organizes the entire event. So congrats to our visual arts participants as well. Standing in front of you right now is Delegate Abigail Heil, who participates in Model United Nations. Also is one of our advisors, Aaron Zimmerborger. Sarah Summers is our other advisor. Delegate Abby won the Best Position paper this year for the Security Council, which is a huge honor to be able to earn that title as part of the Security Council for the Model United Nations. So congratulations, Abby. And both debate and Model United Nations are programs that we run through the school, but are technically student-led groups. We have to have people who step up to advise them, but those who do step up to advise them are unpaid people who just do it out of the goodness of their heart to be able to continue to run these programs. So a big thank you to Aaron and Zimmer for doing that as well. Or Aaron and Sarah. Yes.
Congrats.
Next up, we have our first tech challenge, also known as FTC. I think quite often we hear a lot about robotics, which is the FRC. The FTC is also similar to the robotics program, but their competitions are actually run a little bit differently than FRC. So the first tech challenge this year, the team started their incredible journey on home turf. They competed in the Minnesota FTC Prior Lake Qualifier that's held on Sunday, November 24th last year. If you've never attended that event, I would highly encourage you to come out and see the high school that is completely transformed into this amazing robotics event that happens out there, because it really is miraculous to see the work that they put in to use all of the gyms, the commons, the entire building. It's really, really a neat event. They competed relentlessly and finished qualification rounds at 8th place. They were actually picked by the Third Alliance, and because they were picked by an alliance that was higher than them, they ended up finishing 4th in the playoffs. They then competed in the Burnsville State Qualifier that was held on Saturday, January 11th. They ended the qualification matches in 10th place. However, they were picked at that point by Alliance 1 to join in and work with them, and they won their way through the playoffs and eventually won the tournament. This then qualified them to the FTC Minnesota State Championships that were held on February 15th. They went 7-1 in qualifications and ended up ranking 2nd at that point. And they would go on within their alliance to become the 2nd alliance captain and make it to the finals of their division. Eventually they fell short, but certainly taking 2nd place is quite a huge accomplishment. They did finish 2nd overall. They didn't get an invite to the World Championship, but they did get an invite to the FTC Premier event, where teams that were not able to make it can show off their robot, and will be competing at the Michiana Premier event on June 19th to the 22nd. This is an honor that a Prior Lake team has not had in a long time. Team number 4509, the Excalibots, included the following team members: Sam Holm, Justin Ortle, Ethan Leffler, Jack Schmidtlein, Harry Zheng, Philip Komayakov, and the coaches are Mike Cirillo, Andrew Banis, and Martin Davis. Congratulations to the FTC team. I see Will Lynn's in there as a coach as well, too.
Congratulations.
Next up, we will be bringing in our All-State Band and Orchestra folks. These are folks who are determined to make the All-State honors for both band and orchestra. We have Madeline Duke for their oboe playing, Samantha Chai playing the clarinet, Anna Wang playing the clarinet, Ainsley Okonski playing the clarinet, Cale Solomon playing the French horn, Peter Mays playing the trumpet, Henry Walls playing the tuba, Jack Nicolette on percussion, Harry Zhang on percussion. In addition to those students earning All-State, we also have an additional list of students who are our 2024 to 25 Minnesota Band Directors Association State 9th through 10th Honor Band members, which is All-State for 9th and 10th graders. This included Harriet Presley on the flute, Austin Cleghorn on the bassoon, Audrey Ferraru on clarinet, Jackson Vigoletti on trumpet, Griffin Bemmer on trombone, Alexander St. Hilaire on tuba, and Andrew Coleman on percussion. And we had one student who made the 2024 to 25 Minnesota Band Directors Association State 9 through 10 Jazz Honor Band, and that was Austin Cleghorn on the baritone sax, playing a different instrument than he played for the Honor Band, where he played the bassoon. So our directors are Keith Kolmus and Justin Schramm. Congratulations to all of you on earning All-State.
Congrats.
And I know that you'll be hearing in a little bit some stories and information about the Greece trip. Many of those students who are up here on the Greece trip, I had the, I guess I can say privilege and honor, but I'm not sure if those are the right terms to use when describing chaperoning a trip to Greece with 150 high schoolers, but it was quite the experience. We brought them all back, so you bring them all back, that means that it was a successful trip. So, and again, I know Keith will be coming up and sharing a little bit about that in a little bit. Coming in now are a number of our choir students. These are our all-state choir students for 24-25. The 25-26 results have not been posted yet. We had 9 students earn all-state this year for choir. Sarah Langridge, Amy Weaver, Reeve Olson, Connor McCrave, Jonah Baker, Leo Choi, Mason Bass, Zach Glum, and Rowan Wilson. And our directors for the choir are both Randy Erlinson and Rob Hahn. A couple of really interesting facts and statistics about All-State choir. Typically, the maximum number of singers allowed to earn All-State from any school is 6. This past year, Prior Lake High School was the exception to that rule. We had 9. No other high school in the state got as many as Prior Lake High School, and nor has it ever happened before. Our 6 tenors and basses were the ones who first filled in the slots. They filled in the allowed 6 slots for Prior Lake High School. MMEA, the governing body, had not even begun to seat the sopranos and altos. So when they went to seat the sopranos and altos, they found that all 3 of the Prior Lake High School students were in the top 5 for their respective parts, and 2 of the 3 were actually in the top 3 in the state. So that when MMEA realized this, they were unwilling to withhold acceptance from such strong candidates. They knew that these candidates had to be a part of this. And so again, they bent their rules to allow all 9 to be able to do this. In the state, there are just over 450 schools that have juniors and senior students who are eligible for All-State. When you look at the All-State numbers, however, 20%, approximately 20% every year, actually come from the South Suburban Conference, which is the conference that we are in. So it also shows not only the depth and the strength of Prior Lake High School, but also the depth and the strength of the conference in which we are in, especially when only 7 out of 10 of those schools within the conference are ones who are actually competing for this. So congratulations to all of you. This truly is an amazing honor.
Congrats.
At this time, we are going to switch over now to our Minnesota State High School League-sponsored athletic teams from this past winter. Unfortunately, our Alpine skiers were not able to make it, but our Alpine skiers repeated as girls' conference champions. They were the Section 6 champions, meaning that they qualified for state by winning the section. At the state championships, they finished in 3rd place overall. Team members were Annabelle McCann, Coven Rice, Olivia Reed, Emily Reed, Ashley Schaefer, and Elizabeth McCroskey, and they were coached by Dave Everson and Ania Smothers. Congrats to our girls' Alpine ski team. Standing in front of you is one of our members of our girls' Nordic ski team, Brooke Marquardt. Brooke was one of the captains for our Nordic ski team this year. The team took 2nd in Section 1. By finishing in the top 2, they qualified for the state championship as a team. This was the first time ever in the history of the school that we've qualified for the Nordic Ski Championships as a team, which was a huge accomplishment. The team members who qualified for state were Brooke Marquardt, Sophia Basile, Eliana Reckmeyer, Sarah Rich, Samantha Rich, Caitlin LeClaire, and Kate House. And the team is coached by Paige Larson, Jake Stiley, and Sean Straka. Congratulations, Brooke, and congratulations to the Nordic skiers.
Congratulations.
Both of our basketball programs had tremendous seasons this past year. Our boys basketball program finished 22-7 overall, 13-5 in the South Suburban Conference, losing an unbelievably tough section final to Shakopee. But worthy of note for both of our basketball teams is we had 2 individuals who actually surpassed 1,000 career points. Unfortunately, neither of them could be with us tonight. But Norbu Jempa surpassed 1,000 career points for the boys team. He was coached by Brian Youngworth. And on the girls' side, our team finished 21-6 overall, 13-4 in the South Suburban Conference. They lost to Minnetonka by 1 point in the section semifinals, and just a heartbreaker. But Bree Bowman, she surpassed 1,000 career points as well, which is, again, a huge accomplishment. And she is coached by Maurice Hodges. So congrats to both of our 1,000-point scorers in basketball. Boys swimming and diving, unfortunately, the individuals were not able to make it tonight. Most of them are actually in the pool training right now as they get ready for either college or to participate next year on our high school team. But our boys swimming and diving team finished 9-0 in the conference. They finished as conference champs once again. They finished 3rd at the state AA championships, repeating as the 200 medley relay state champs. That was Ethan Cosin, Owen Baudette, Griffin Lining, and Braxton Helmers. In addition, you can see from that list the number of other placeholders that we had, which really covered almost every event of the state meet. The only event that they did not score in was the 100 freestyle. Otherwise, we had people scoring at every event at the state meet. Again, finishing 3rd overall for the 2nd straight year. Coaches were Joe Bollinger, Andy Weiss, Jill Selchow, Julia Onderock, and Kylie Sieben. Congratulations to the boys swimming and diving team. So you might find something that's kind of unique on these 5 individuals standing in front of you. That's not all their natural hair colors, I can tell you that right now. These are some of our wrestlers who are up here right now. And our wrestling team finished 7-2 this year in the South Suburban Conference. Going into the section meet, they were seated second. We were seated second going into the section meet because they had lost to Apple Valley, perennial wrestling superpower in the conference in the section. They had lost to them during the season. At the section tournament, however, they were able to come back and to beat Apple Valley in the section finals to qualify for the team state tournament for the first time since 2015. John's up there saying that was pretty easy, it looks like. It was an amazing experience to be able to take the whole team down to the Xcel Energy Center and to be able to have them wrestle down there, where they finished in 6th place overall at the state tournament. In addition, we had 4 individual state qualifiers this year. Team members included Rocco Mikalazic, who also qualified individually, Chase Foster, Dekai Brown, Michael Atkinson, Liam Collins, who also finished 6th as an individual, Jack Jersted, Brody Daly, Owen Tronson, Wyatt Smith, Zach Gabler, Brady Gegenheimer, John Graham, who also qualified individually, Garrett Wood, Scott Hendricks, Charlie Nelson, Tommy Wyckoff, Isaiah Olabodi, Brock Zern, who finished 3rd individually, Alex Tremaine, and Adam Giroulis. Our wrestling team is coached by head coach Joe Block, Alex Head, John Tolbert, Clint Hodgen, Bill Gabler, and certainly a slew of other volunteers, because you have to have a lot of different wrestling coaches to be able to help out at all the different wrestling weights that are out there. The other piece I want to point out is that our head coach Joe Block, who I know is here somewhere, the state class AAA Coach of the Year, the best coach in the entire state for AAA for this past year. Congratulations to Coach. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Next, we're going to bring in our cheerleaders. And our cheerleaders have made it a habit of being able to be here year in and year out. The success of our cheerleading program is absolutely incredible. This year, they were competing in a different division. And when we talk about the cheerleading program and the success that they have, it isn't at a state level, it's at a national level. Every year, our cheerleaders qualify for the national championships that take place down in Orlando, Florida in early February. This year, at the UCA Nationals, our varsity team took 2nd place in the nation for the medium varsity game day competition and 5th place in the medium varsity traditional competition. Again, 2nd in the nation and 5th in the nation for both of theirs. On the JV side, who also qualifies for nationals every year, our JV squad took 1st place, national champs, in the small game day division, and they took 5th place in the nation in the small traditional division. So again, these girls make up some of the best cheerleading and one of the best cheerleading programs in the nation. Our varsity members include Ava Bildo, Azara Olson, Karis Taylor, Josie Belkin, Peyton Johnson, Stella Goodman, Willow Blotsky, Ella Arbach, Hattie McGillivray, Kate Kusera, Caitlin Clout, Lindsay Higgins, Madison Pickenpack, Morgan Nemechek, Kylie Gerke, Peyton Sukup, Reese Gugamos, Lila Kramer, and Taylor Caspers. And our JV squad includes Brooklyn Clam, Cameron Fangle, Dakari Anise Dilly, Esme Bricks, Evie Fisher, Camry Walters, Keely Stewart, Kira Young, Lalia Kronmiller, Mava Goodman, Molly Zach, Piper Brown, Quinn Willie, Sadie Kronmiller, Sydney Long, Tenley Arbach, and Tenley Cantwell. And our coaches for cheerleading are Maddie Bills, Brittany Rabine, Megan Musso, Pam Sonic, and Kaylee Brown. Congratulations to all of you. Every year.
Congratulations. Thank you guys. I'm upset you guys didn't do a pyramid or something.
Congrats. And the final team we're going to recognize tonight is our gymnastics team. Our gymnastics team this year took second at Section 2AA, just barely missing qualifying for the state tournament as a team. They did have 5 individual state qualifiers. I believe some of them are, yep, here we come. 5 individual state qualifiers this year. That is a school record for the most amount of gymnasts ever sent to state. In addition, the team broke the school record in terms of the overall team score. They scored the highest score that a team has ever scored from Prior Lake High School. And they also broke the school record as a team on vault, beam, and floor. Our state qualifiers were Madeline Chapee in floor exercise and vault, Annie Drain in the all-around, the uneven bars, the balance beam, where she took 5th place, the floor exercise and vault, Claire Drain on uneven bars, Ava Lofness on the vault, and Brooklyn Thorson on balance beam and floor exercise. Annie Drain becomes the second ever medalist at state, where she finished in 5th, and she became the second most decorated Prior Lake gymnast of all time with 3 state appearances. Congratulations to the girls and our coaches, Patrick Kleckner, Liv Spitzer, Julie Siegel, Amanda Montplaisir, and Kimberly New. Congratulations, girls.
Congratulations.
We have 2 other awards that we are going to recognize tonight, and these are awards that are sponsored by the Minnesota State High School League. The first is called the Excel Award. The Excel Award stands for Excellence in Community Education and Leadership, and it's a unique recognition program designed exclusively for Minnesota high school juniors who are active in school activities, are leaders in their schools, and who demonstrate a strong commitment to community service. This award is sponsored by the League's corporate partner, Truestone Financial Credit Union. And this year, the 2 recipients from Prior Lake High School for the Excel Award are Taylor Hendrickson, unfortunately Taylor couldn't be with us tonight, and Sid Callum. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congrats. And our final award, the Minnesota State High School League sponsored the AAA Award. And AAA stands for Athletics, Arts, and Academics. The Academics, Arts, and Athletics Award, commonly known as the AAA Award, honors high school seniors throughout the state who have extremely high GPAs and who participate in league-sponsored athletic and fine arts activities. AAA Award recipients are selected through a multi-level process involving member schools of the League's administrative regions, and a special committee of educators, business leaders, and members from the fine arts and athletic communities. Our male AAA winner this year was Sam Holm. Unfortunately, Sam was unable to be with us tonight. Our female AAA winner this year was Brooke Marquardt, who's standing in front of you. Brooke was very unique because we're pretty sure that Brooke is the first AAA recipient from Prior Lake High School who actually won the next level. She was chosen as the region winner as well, which then means that she went on to the state level competition where they had a nice luncheon for her during the state basketball tournament, and she was actually recognized during halftime of one of the state basketball championship games down at Williams Arena. So again, a huge honor to win not only the state or the school level, but also to go on and be able to win the region level for the AAA award. So congratulations, Brooke. In closing, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you who are sitting here in front. I want to say thank you to all of you who are sitting here in the audience. Whether you're parents, grandparents, family members, fans, we get fantastic support in this community for our arts, athletics, and activities, and it is very, very exciting to see. Without a doubt, our teachers and administrators, our coaches and our advisors, the district office staff, as I mentioned, custodial staff at the schools who help support us, and most importantly, the wonderful student participants and spectators that we have as well, because they really do make us proud. Between the sportsmanship that they display, but in addition, the sportsmanship and the respect that they display when they're in the stands is very top-notch. And I'm very proud of our students and our community because of the things that they continue to show. So thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity to be able to come out and honor these students.
Okay, Chair White, I've got just one more this evening. And you heard earlier that our band went on a trip of a lifetime to showcase their skills and talents across the globe in Greece. And directors Keith and Justin, they are phenomenal at their craft. Your ability to connect and support our students, whether it's locally here, Chicago, or, like I said, in Greece. We are really proud of the work that you do, and I can't thank you enough, and really proud of our students as well. So thank you so much for facilitating this great opportunity for our kids to not only perform, but also get a nice immersive cultural experience of something that's a little different than Prior Lake, and probably something that they'll remember forever. So with that, I'll turn it over to you to showcase a little bit of the experience for our kids.
Well, thank you, Dr. Thomas and members of the board for having us, for this invitation to share a little bit. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I will try to do it by pictures mostly. This, of course, what you see here before you is one of the touring sites that we got to see. It's the largest and the oldest theater in the world, in Epidaurus, in the Mycenaean spot, and it just seemed like it was a good background to start our little tour. Of course, we were a performance tour, and so the performance was the big thing of why we even went at all. And while there weren't, festivals or things we were a part of, we created a space to perform in. Our tour partners with Grand Tours had a number of other bands from the Minnesota area, and a lot of these other bands had already been to these towns and these locales. And so we were kind of the grand finale of a month-long of series of concerts through them. The first performance right away, so we left on a Thursday. We got to our hotel in Nafplio, just 2 hours yet. So all the flights and then a 2-hour bus ride to Nafplio on the first night. So we got it all the way there. So Thursday to Friday night. Saturday morning, we got a little fresh here, went out to Mycenae. We'll do a little bit of that. But that night, that Saturday night, already our first performance. And again, Nafplio welcomed us. They had a stage set up for us and had lighting because, of course, at that time, it was about 7 p.m. there, a little darker. Their daylight savings was that night, so we got to experience that, but nobody was on any time schedule yet, so it was just fine, even though it was an hour shorter than the night before. But again, there you see we are in Nafplio in their town square. I think the kids were surprised by the audience that was assembled as well. And a number of people approached me afterwards saying, oh my gosh, you're a public school, like how does this work? And all these many questions about how we do this in both the states and in Minnesota and specifically to our community as well. And then from there, we went up to the north of the Peloponnese, back over to the mainland, and we performed again in Atea. And again, this town, you can see same time frame, it's just a little lighter, but they still had lights up for us near the Oracle of Delphi. And so that's part of why we got to the locations we did. There was stuff to see there as well as a very welcoming community. The gentleman there you see welcoming us is the mayor, former mayor, and he's an expat from the United States that has embraced this town as his own and brings lots of people and brought great support for our kids while we were there. Again, you can see us on the waterfront, some beautiful pictures there. The kids are facing hilltops, and where the Delphi location of the archaeological dig is visible from where they stood. And again, more Lakers in their gear. And what I thought was the big performance was back in Athens. We performed in the Metropolitan Cathedral Town Square. And this particular location, they don't have kings and queens in Greece anymore, but when they did, this is where they were coronated in this location. So very central to the heart of Greece, and they welcomed us there. Our performance was so well received that the priest came out and said, hey, if your kids want to come on in and look around, we'd love to welcome them in. And so a number of our kids did. We had to disassemble things at that point because we had to get ready for our flight already. But like I said, the performances are what made the trip. Our kids always play great, but there was a little something extra. You stand up a little taller when you're playing for people you don't know, and just there's a little more pride. They shouted PRIORLAKE, just a little more precise and just a little deeper than, not that they don't when they're here, but there was just something special about all of that they represented very well, so you know. The sightseeing, of course, they were very able to take in. We had wonderful guides that gave us all the information and all the stories. You saw the Mycenaean. We went to Olympia. We got to see, as you see here, they are going into the stadium, and they got to run their 200 meters and test their health. Some of them took longer to recover for the museum, but it was a museum time, and we did okay. They had olive branches, and we talked about all of those different things that we were able to see there. That was, again, just on the first day and the second day in Olympia, and then we went up to Delphi after our second performance already, and this is where the oracle and all that advice giving that was given out by the people of that time. And again, we have some of our Lakers just taking in all the many new ideas and thoughts. Also, a theater, very prized thing of that time, certainly. So every place had to have their theater if they also had their sports arenas. I think a lesson for us there, perhaps. And again, just you see the beautiful sights up in Delphi. We're up in the mountains and looking through the vastness of all of Greece. And of course, the Parthenon and the Acropolis. And so that's where you see Lakers taking that in, unbelievable. And you see when you're in the city itself and then you're looking up, oh, this is where all of that was. And you can see how the people of the time would have made this into such a great and wonderful place. Again, so much history, the kids took it in. It was just cool enough that we didn't get sweaty when we were walking around. There was one day they were able to get in the water in the beach. Everybody thought we were crazy. This isn't that day, but that's okay. But then we also took a little boat cruise of the Saronic Islands. And so just a full day, we left at 8 in the morning. We got back to port at 7, saw 3 islands, Poros, Hydra, and Aegina, and very idyllic. Some of it, we went along the mainland coastline. Some of it was completely through water and then just to the island itself. But you always see just these little dots of all these places. The hotels were very nice. We had time and space to be able to have the kids be kids as well. In addition to taking it all, in addition to doing the great things of performing, they were able to have food, have the great food. Here you see our last hotel, just kind of an idea of what the buffet line looked like. You've seen buffets, of course, but when there's real Kalamata olives, when there's real feta cheese and the yogurt, well, you know, it's Greece, so you get Greek yogurt. We did some dancing. We had meals off-site as well, and we had folk dancers that were dancing to the music, brought the kids out onto the dance floor. It was not hard to get them out on the dance floor. There you see a gentleman in garb and shouting, of course, Opa! And the kids got very good at that as well. Again, time to be with friends. The kids were very good at finding time and using that time to get to know each other better. It was always interesting, even though these kids are all in band, they're in 5 different bands. And to see who they chose to be with, that social element that developed. And for us to see that in new and different ways was really, really exciting from a teacher perspective as well. And so, you know, the kids were great. This was a note that was sent along by their free day shopping in the Old Town in Athens, which was within a walkable distance from the hotel, and we gave them, you know, groups of 4 or 5, and when there weren't, well, we got told, and we were informed, and then we found them, and then they had a chaperone buddy. But this was brought to us by a student that said, hey, you're part of this group? Yeah, here. They stuffed a couple things in there and then said, take this to your chaperones. And what was inside was what's called the evil eye, and it's essentially a good luck charm, warding off the evil, you know, glances and stares. Not that there were any of those, but it's if you've been to Athens, you would know it and see it very prominently. And so it was a good luck gesture given from the people who our kids were buying from and interacting with on the streets. So I thought that was a wonderful thing. And of course, this doesn't happen without some good supervision and oversight. And we had a crack crew of chaperones that came along with us, including Mr. Marshall and Mrs. Fuller from the activities office, along with other teachers from the high school, who all know kids and knew that when a kid was dragging a little bit behind, knew to give a little extra attention and, hey, what's going on, and figure all these things out. And yes, there were relationships that started, there were relationships that ended, all of the things that you expect might happen in the course of a tour, and we got through it okay. But thank you for all that you do to support kids and our students in all the things that they do. That's really all I have to share unless there are questions, but please know that we appreciate all that you do in support of all of our kids. So thank you so much. Oh, this is for real. Okay.
Mr. Thomas, I just want to say, as a parent who had a student on the trip, just how wonderful everything went from the beginning of the trip a year ago to now. You guys, your team did a great job, and I'm so grateful for the volunteers that really sacrificed their entire spring break to fly multiple flights and battle jet lag and really volunteer to be with these kids so they could have this amazing lifetime experience. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Thomas.
Thank you, Chair White, Board of Directors. Just a couple of things I'll share with you all. I think mid-year we discussed a post-referendum survey and just kind of where we're at with, what the communities were thinking. And we talked to Morris Leatherman, who did our pre-survey, and I'm very thankful and appreciative of Peter and the team. And he said, listen, I'll save you $30,000 and I'll tell you the two reasons why it didn't pass. And given all the other post surveys that he's done, just given our financial reality, he knew that probably wouldn't be a good spend of our resources, but he said economic insecurity and property taxes, two dominant things as to why a majority of levies did not pass in the metro area. He said given our turnout and the rate that we did get support, he said that was quite surprising because he wouldn't anticipate that given the situations that many throughout the country were in to have that high of a support. Obviously it didn't pass, but still one of the things that he just said, if you're going to do it on your own versus doing it through us, because that's what we're going to tell you and that's what we're finding across the entire metro area. With that said, Christy and I talked, and we are going to be doing a survey that will launch tomorrow and run through the 29th of April. And this is something that we'll manage in-house. And obviously, we don't have the same capacity as a Morris Leatherman or the statistical analysis tools, but we are going to hear from our community, and we'll be posting this on our website, posting it in public spaces, our libraries, et cetera, so folks from our community can do this. One of the things I will share with the board is that our ability to survey just the random public it obviously is not the same as Morris Leatherman. If that is something we want to do, we did ballpark about $5,400 it would cost us if we wanted to do some type of postcard mailer to get it printed, put the survey on there, and mail it to everyone so they can do that. So that is something I'll probably talk to some of you offline about, but we'll see what our feedback and our turnout is on our own internal. But again, April 15th to the April 29th. It's open to all of our community members who wish to share their thoughts and experiences, and I will say that if you do receive that survey because you're a parent, and that's our population that we can easily access, I will just ask our community to openly share that survey as well and help, word of mouth spread that. And so, again, it's open to all. The results may not provide a complete representation because we're not doing target searches and all that, but we're just going to do a general open call for feedback. And then a summary of that feedback will be collected, and we'll be sharing that with the school board and district leadership so that we all can have discussions as to what the future may hold, should that be a conversation that we want to entertain moving forward. So stay tuned for that, more to come there. Over spring break, we began the branding process of our strategic plan. I shared with some of our students and some of our staff, namely some of our students, we're talking about what does being on brand look like. And many of our students understand various brands that they support, whether it's clothing brands, music icons, et cetera. They understand branding and marketing, so that was pretty impressive to have that conversation with our kids. But really engaging them because they were part of the STRAT process as well as part of the learner attribute process, and understanding that we need to become what we espouse ourselves to be in print. And so over spring break, we began with our new iterations of district signage. It was my last week's Fridays 5. If you notice, when you walked in today on the outdoor windows, you'll see our big vision placards that are on every main entryway. And then there will also be the entire strategic plan. I was looking around the room if we had one here. They will be coming. That will be in main adult corridors in all of our schools as well, our conference rooms. And then we have an array of signs that buildings can purchase that have a lot of our values, our priorities, as well as our learner attributes, and those become on-brand recognition. So when you walk into a Prior Lake Savage Area school, we own the front marquee from a district standpoint, as well as some key adult spaces within that building where adults would look at our plan and understand kind of the hard work that went into that. And then the schools will have a combination of some of the things that they've produced as well as some of the signs that we've produced that are aligning to our new strategic plan. So be looking at those as those are starting to be put up. And you heard me all throughout the strategic planning process that it's not just a shelf document. This is a living, breathing document. All of our work is being aligned to that. And from an administration standpoint, this is serving as our North Star. And this is something that we will continually rally our resources around to ensure that we are meeting kind of the expectations of what we heard from our community throughout that engagement process of developing that new plan. So again, be looking out for that. I will just share that I have my annual Realtor meeting coming up at the end of April from 10 to 11 here at the DSC. It's, again, a great opportunity for me to learn kind of what's happening in the market around us, namely rooftops that might have babies. It's always a good thing. Chair White and I, he joined his first quarterly meeting with all of our elected officials, our mayors, and some of our police chiefs as well. Was that this week?
Friday.
Yeah, last Friday. And one of the things that I will share is that there is some new developments coming into our district. It's not going to change drastically overnight, but there are about 40 to 50 homes that Prior Lake is going to be bringing online in that $600,000 to $700,000 price range. And there are conversations about some other kind of family / commercial land that's been kind of in and out of discussions for many, many years, as I understand it. I'll just leave that one there. And it sounds like there's a great opportunity that there could be, a significant chunk of land developed for both housing and commercial that's right in our district proper, if you will, on the Prior Lake side. So a lot of good opportunities. And then lastly, I will say we got some updates recently too around the gravel pit area by HRE, and that they are grading the next phases of that Keyland development. I believe it's going to remain Keyland, and as well as a very massive park that will be centered to that community, larger than many other Savage parks as well. So a lot of exciting opportunity there. So It's also a way for me to bring a lot of conversation to our real estate agents who have families coming literally from all over the place, coming here for the first time out of country, out of state, and wondering where should they go and where should they move. And we want to make sure that our realtors understand all of what's happening that's great about our district so they can sell our district and obviously sell houses as well. So it's a real reciprocal relationship that I have. So that's coming up. And then lastly, just give our board and our community an update. Just before spring break, I joined a team with the Minnesota Association of School Administrators of about 6 of us that went out to Washington, D.C. to lobby federally. I have spent many a days lobbying at the Capitol here. I've never been out to D.C. to do this work. It really deepened my appreciation for our elected officials. Not something I could ever do. So thank you to all of our Minnesota delegates who are both locally here as well as serving at the federal level and bringing our collective voice to a national platform. We divided and conquered and met with all of our federal delegates, and both Republicans as well as Democrats. And then we also rounded out our experience with the Department of Education. And it's very different. It's very empty. So you can definitely feel the tenor out in DC right now. There's a lot of buzz, but not what you typically see in DC. It's kind of a sombering buzz. So a lot of change is happening, as we all know. We can watch any kind of newsreel or feeds that we get with our social media. A lot is happening federally, and we want to make sure that as those things continue to unfold, at least within education, we in Minnesota, as well as, selfishly speaking, us here in Prior Lake, bring our voices to the table. And I'll just say there are key topics that we brought forward on that trip. And one of them was our special education cross-subsidy. This is something that starts woefully underfunded from the federal and continues to get underfunded by the time it reaches districts. We've made up a little bit of ground here locally, so thank you to all of our folks in the legislature here in Minnesota who are doing a fantastic job getting additional resources with the federal mandates. But again, be great if our federal partners could follow that lead and really fully fund things that really matter so that we're not robbing Peter to pay Paul constantly here at the local level. Spent a lot of time talking about grow your own. No surprise, finding quality educators, whether they're licensed, certified folks or non-certified. We need folks to come into education, and that pipeline is something that is really concerning to many districts across the country. And so we brought a lot of examples of abilities to do your own, grow your own, for example, our non-certified programs, giving specialized rates with higher ed institutions to get their bachelor's or get teaching licenses so that we can have a continuous pipeline of high-quality folks coming in to fill many vacancies throughout the entire country, namely here our Minnesota delegates. So that was a big conversation. We also talked about the maintenance of federal title funding and ensuring that the title funding that has been earmarked really stays in effect, so kind of hold harmless with our title. And then lastly, maintaining public funds for public schools. There's a lot of conversations around voucher-type programs or privatizations of public schools. And so again, our appeal to our federal delegates were the fact that we want to make sure that, with our public tax dollars they are funding our public learning spaces. So that was another conversation point that we brought out. So that's an update on our federal lobbying efforts. And just the last thing I'll share is I think it must have been around February. Every school district received a Dear Colleague letter from the Department of Education making certain demands around DEI initiatives and things of that nature that was kind of following along the line of our current federal administration on a variety of executive orders. That really kind of sat kind of in a space, for us here in Minnesota, because in Minnesota we have state human rights laws that actually supersede any federal executive orders. And so our Attorney General issued a statement on this, or not a statement, an opinion, which effectively becomes the law of the land. And so at that point, everything was kind of holding as is here in the state of Minnesota, and you probably saw the same newsreels I saw. A lot of challenges going on in terms of what's happening federally with the states, and unfortunately, I think we get kind of caught in some of that crossfire. A variety of nonprofits, public sector, institutions, et cetera. But just over spring break, we had the second Dear Colleague letter that's supposed to clarify the initial Dear Colleague letter of exactly what we weren't supposed to be doing, and I think it caused more confusion than anything else. It didn't really clarify much more. But I will say that my conversations out in D.C. with the Department of Education was really kind of pushing for clarity around this. And, I gave a clear example of how we built or remodeled a new playground for early childhood, and it was one of our first inclusive playground spaces. And, I, really pushed and said that clearly falls under the I of DEI for inclusion, so am I going to go to jail? Help me understand as a superintendent when I hear all this national rhetoric about, this acronym, what are you really saying? What does it really mean? And what is the real problem you're trying to solve for? And so that was a respectful push that I offered with, not much clarity given, saying that a letter will be coming. And so we received that letter. And again, I think a lot of more questions than anything. Our commissioner responded on behalf of the state of Minnesota, essentially stating that what's being asked in these letters to basically sign a certification vowing that you're not breaking any federal human rights law around DEI initiatives in the state of Minnesota that are receiving federal funding, otherwise your federal funding could be at risk of being pulled. And, one of the statements that our commissioner shared is that, and this is true for all states, when you receive federal funding, you sign a statement of assurance, basically stating, by accepting this, we will not break any federal laws. We already do that. We've been doing that for as long as we've had federal funding. So again, I think the respectful push was, what are you really asking us to do? If we're already doing something you're asking, why would we have to do this twice? And so there's going to be some back and forth, board and our community around this issue. So we will continue to abide by what is right for kids. We are a public educational system that serves all students, no matter who they are and how they show up in our classrooms every single day, and that's non-negotiable as your superintendent, and that's something that I will continue to push for as we work, to doing what's best for our community and ultimately for our students and our families and our staff. So those are my updates on the federal advocacy trip, as well as some of the DOE chatter that's kind of going back and forth between states and the federal government right now. So I'm sure more will come. So just stay tuned. As we learn more, I will share more.
Okay.
And with that, Chair, I'll turn it to you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Thomas. If Director Dahl would like to make his way to the podium, we have a series of proclamations for you tonight in your packet. The first one is National Volunteer Appreciation Week, which Prior Lake Savage Schools will be recognizing April 21st through the 25th, 2025. Director Dahl.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair White, members of the board, and Dr. Thomas. I don't know if, are we going to read the proclamation? Okay. So we've got a couple different proclamations here that I'll be covering. The first one is the volunteer proclamation. First of all, thank you for recognizing the amazing volunteers who provide countless hours of their time and energy and resources to support our students and our schools. Specifically, I want to recognize our Community Education Advisory Council, which is made up of community members, business owners, partners in our city's parks and rec programs. All of them are volunteers to sit on our council and help support our mission and provide valuable insight to assist us in our program planning as well as meeting the needs of our community. So again, thank you for recognizing the many volunteers in our schools and in our community.
Thank you. Second proclamation is the district will be recognizing April 21st through the 25th as After School Professionals Appreciation Week.
Yes, again, thank you for recognizing all of the after-school professionals that work in our district. We have many talented individuals who support our students during their out-of-school time and experiences to ensure that they have safe spaces where they can continue their learning and meeting their friends and just enjoying some time together. Specifically, our Kids Company program truly has some of the most caring, creative, and committed staff, whose top priority is always the safety of the children they serve. They're dedicated to serving the whole child and providing a safe space before and after school that encourages positive growth and development, allowing each student to reach their full potential as a learner here in the Prior Lake Savage area schools. So thank you again for recognizing all of our after-school professionals.
Thank you. Our next proclamation is that the district will be recognizing April 21st through the 25th as Youth Appreciation Week.
And again, thank you for recognizing the many talented young individuals in our community who make a difference each and every day. I'm going to invite up Dan Steger, who's one of our Prior Lake High School Junior Optimists advisors, just to share a little bit more about our Junior Optimists.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dahl. Thank you, Dr. Thomas, Chairman White, school board, all present. I do advise the Junior Optimist Club. So in that capacity, I'm here representing really all the youth in the community whom you are honoring by that proclamation. It is remarkable to me the depth and the commitment that kids in this community have to service. When I took over as one of the advisors of the Junior Optimist Club some years ago, being of a certain age, I was wondering how I could possibly motivate kids to do service when they were so much younger, even than my own kids. And honestly, I just had to provide a couple opportunities and get out of the way. So since then, the Junior Optimist Club at the high school has grown to be the largest in the world. By a significant margin, with 250 active members. Yeah, strictly speaking, that wasn't part of my script, but it does find its way in. And we do, that does represent 10% of the enrollment of the high school, which I think is truly astonishing. So in that respect, we are representative, even though we're just one club, we are representative of the entire youth community here. So I just wanted to introduce a couple of our members. These are not just any members, these are our two picks for youth appreciation this year. In a club of 250, it's difficult to stand above everyone else, but these two certainly have this year. In the white, we've got Clarissa Harris, who is a sophomore. Clarissa has done, since the school year began, she's averaged one service project every week. She's currently has done the most service hours of anybody in the club, which is no small feat. And standing next to her is Kavya Mupidi, who is a senior. Kavya, along with her colleague Nissa France, runs two mentoring programs that we do in the middle schools. So each month she puts on a program. She meets with the teachers responsible for those classes and the Middle School Junior Optimist Club, and they put together a learning and life skill program where they recruit volunteers to help them, and they execute those programs. So I don't actually have a way of wrapping this up. So anyway, thanks you very much for the proclamation and your support. Community Ed, we appreciate your support because Youth Appreciation is an Optimist international program, but here in Prior Lake and Savage, it has the benefit of support from Community Ed, which really gives it the traction that it needs to become something more than just a bunch of old optimists, talking. So thanks everybody for that support.
Thank you.
Our next proclamation is that the district will be recognizing April 21st through 25th as Administrative Support Professionals Week. Director Herman.
Chair White, members of the board, thank you very much for another proclamation. We're really heavy on all amazing stuff this week, and wanted to give a special shout out to our administrative support staff. These dedicated team members really perform essential functions throughout our district to ensure that our schools and programs run smoothly every day, whether it's aligning substitute coverage, to scheduling assessments, generating required state and federal reports, tracking budgets, ordering supplies, coordinating logistics for meetings, events, programs, and so much more. Their work is foundational to the success of our district, and we appreciate your recognition of their efforts and the vital role that they play in supporting our students, staff, families, and community members. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final proclamation for the evening is that the district will be recognizing April 28th through May 2nd as National Principals Appreciation Week. Director Edwards.
Thank you, Chair White, members of the board. Great opportunity to recognize the leaders in our system that on a day-to-day basis at each of our sites provide that unwavering commitment to the experience for our students. I mean, tonight we've celebrated a number of students and the great opportunities that they've had outside of the classroom. Principals are behind that and supporting that. We obviously know that the success of our students begins with great classroom teachers, but great classroom teachers need great principals to lead the buildings in order to be successful. In the proclamation, it states all the various responsibilities, and I work hand in hand with our principals on a daily basis from a 7 a.m. text or phone call to a 9 p.m. text or phone call related to making sure that our schools can function as they need to so that our students can come each and every day to a safe, supportive environment where they can excel at whatever aspect they're focusing on, whether it be their academics, their co-curriculars, or their service to community, as we just recognized. So our principals do an amazing job of supporting our great students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the open forum. This is a 15-minute period of time set aside to receive citizen input. Tonight we have one speaker, so if Michael Gillis would like to step forward.
Chair White, board members, Dr. Thomas, good evening. My name is Michael Gillis. I'm a resident of Prior Lake, a voter and taxpayer, and a parent of students in Prior Lake Savage area schools. I see on the agenda for tonight's meeting, there is a resolution that includes eliminating the position of Director of Equity and Inclusion. All members of our community should be concerned by this. Now, it seems that some people are terrified of words like equity and inclusion, whether they've arrived at fear through misinformation, willful ignorance, or cynical malevolence. Each person's journey to that place of fear is unique, and their path back to understanding, uncertain. I hope that such people will come to see these words mean something that we've long held as ideals in this country: equality of opportunity and a level playing field. Equity and inclusion means that something that was practiced in the past, whether it was 50 years ago or last week, doesn't pass muster on tradition alone. It means we strive for giving each student the best opportunity to have the best educational experience that we can offer. Equity means making sure that a student who needs special accommodations for a class isn't forced to miss that opportunity to learn and grow with their peers. Inclusion means that every student in our district is a Laker, and while they might be different in almost every aspect of their background or their learning or their ability, they are no more or less a Laker than the next student. We are all Lakers, and we are one Prior Lake. Your position as board members is not enviable. You put in many hours of work for our community, and you must withstand criticism for decisions you make, and even some that you probably have no part in. The elimination of the Director of Equity and Inclusion, one of many eliminations and non-renewals on tonight's agenda, was no doubt a difficult decision for you to make. We are a district with several hundred students receiving special education services or English language services, or sometimes both. We're a district with students coming from homes with different belief systems and traditions, different educational backgrounds, different home cultures, and different languages. All that being said, we are still all Lakers, and we should all still be one Prior Lake. Eliminating the position of Director of Equity and Inclusion sends a signal that Prior Lake Savage area schools perhaps does not value uniqueness or fairness, that students should hope they meet some sort of standardized expectation if they are going to succeed here. That signal should be of concern to everyone in the community. I trust that in eliminating the position of Director of Equity and Inclusion, that the district has a plan in place to ensure that no student's school experiences are hindered by their background or their ability. I look forward to the district sharing that plan very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.